On today's Saturday news, Gunther's WrestleMania 41 opponents may have been revealed.
Vince McMahon has been fined by the SEC.
We've got another update on Malakai Black's AEW wrestling status.
And Nick Nemeth is sticking around in TNA. Are you ready? Are you ready for the news time? Yes, my name is Phil Chambers and I'm joined by Gareth Morgan. Talk all things wrestling news, but first up,
we need to talk about Gunther, whatever you want to call him, the World Heavyweight Champion, and what he's doing for WrestleMania, because we say this, I believe, every weekend now. It's a bit crazy, this WrestleMania. You feel like you could put anybody into really any slot at the top and it's going to be something entertaining, something gripping. I don't think what we're about to talk about was something that a lot of people had in their minds, but if it happens, it could be quite something. It could be interesting. I am talking, of course, about a potential match involving Gunther and Logan Paul for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, this is according to PW Insider Elite, and they've said that there have been pitches in WWE for Gunther to defend against, obviously, the former US champ, Logan Paul. And yeah, we're not sure how far along those pitches are, but if it's being talked about, that's already... It seems to suggest it's something that WWE have a little bit of interest in. Logan Paul on the Netflix kickoff event thing, whatever it was, he was talking about, looking at your next WWE World Champion, all this stuff. So I think his mind seems to be on that, if that's his new direction going forward. It's one of the major things he's not done yet in WWE. I think he does want to probably lift one of those world titles at some point, and WWE probably want that, because if Logan Paul's got one of your belts, then you get all the exposure and just even more globalization. Yay! Like that is what they're going to be looking at. But I believe that Gunther was, I didn't fully watch this kickoff show when it happened, but I'm just looking at the quotes because there's a lot of stuff on, a lot of wrestling, okay? And I believe he said, after that was mentioned, after Logan Paul was like, I'm going to be the world champion, he said, if Logan Paul thinks he can walk in here and take this away from me, if he ever makes it to the top of that line to challenge me for the World Heavyweight Championship, it will be my duty and my pleasure to slap that stupid smirk out of his face. Yay, Gunther! I love this man. Just take his head off. That'd be great. So that's all that side of things. And then obviously there were kind of talks of Gunther versus Goldberg at some point. We're not sure if that's going to be a potential WrestleMania thing. Meltzer mentioned in The Observer, the angle was shot with Gunther and that was the planned match. I would presume it wouldn't be for the title. WrestleMania 41 makes sense for it, but it's never been told to us that it would be at Mania. So that's one of those that, you could see that. That does feel like a Mania match, but it's not something that seems to be in the pipeline right now. Like, you never know, things can change. And then on top of this, if that was enough kind of confusion of what's going on with Gunther, Ibu of Wrestle Purists also mentioned recently that Seth Rollins versus Gunther looks like it could be the match for WrestleMania as well. So any of those options, I think I'm kind of here for varying reasons.
Yeah, it's kind of mad. It feels like at the minute with the WrestleMania card, they've kind of got a list of what they want, but then they've got The Rock in there somewhere. And if they have, remove him, they will need an entirely new card because everything else will trickle down to sort of fill that spot. So I imagine they've got varying different cards planned at the minute and all depend on what The Rock actually wants to do at WrestleMania. But yeah, the Gunther versus Logan Paul thing is not something I had on my sort of to-do list for this year, but also at the same time kind of want to see Gunther slap the piss out of Logan Paul. I'm not gonna lie, that would be kind of entertaining. I don't think Logan Paul has faced anyone quite like Gunther in his wrestling run so far. And it would just be funny.
I feel like I could just see him do one of his silly flippy-dippy springboard things and then just chop out of the sky. Yay.
Nope. Get on the floor. And just, seeing his chest at the end of it. Because, Gunther would put him through his paces, let's say.
Slap a Prime bottle. Oh, yeah. Slap the head off the Prime bottle. That'd be great.
But it is kind of nutso, and let us know down in the comments, is this something you want to see at WrestleMania, Gunther versus Logan Paul? I'm very intrigued as to what people think of this one. But yeah, again, we're just going to have to wait and see with this Mania card, because at the minute, it seems like it's kind of all over the place, but also that every option that is in here is amazing. So we shall have to wait and see. But moving over to Vince McMahon and his lawsuit with the SEC. Now, that lawsuit has been settled out of court, but he has also been fined as part of this. Now, this is for a violation of the Securities Exchange Act, and statements from the SEC said that because payments required by the hush money payment, basically NDA agreements in 2019 and 2022, because Vince McMahon did not record those with the WWE board or any sort of legal within WWE. WWE then went on to overstate its 2018 net income by approximately 8% and its 2021 net income by approximately 1.7%. And in addition, these payments should have been disclosed as sort of related third-party transactions. Now, this is basically WWE using Vince McMahon using WWE funds to pay off non-disclosure agreements and hush money findings for his sexual misconduct, which, I mean, that's what it is. The two payments, one was for a former employee for $3 million in exchange for her not disclosing her relationship with Vince McMahon, and the other settlement was for $7.5 million to a former WWE independent contractor, and we all know what independent contractor means within WWE. Now, the SEC went on to say that without admitting or denying the SEC's findings, McMahon agreed to cease and desist from violating those provisions and pay a $400,000 civil penalty and reimburse WWE for $1.33 million. So yeah, this is basically Vince McMahon not telling the WWE board of directors about certain payments that then meant WWE just misfiled and misreported their earnings for certain years, which is obviously against the law. Now, Vince McMahon has a statement about this, and just bear with me because there's a couple of statements involved in this, but I just want to make sure I cover absolutely everything. But Vince McMahon said that the case is closed. Today ends nearly 3 years of investigation by different governmental agencies. There has been a great deal of speculation about what exactly the government was investigating and what the outcome would be. As today's resolution shows, much of that speculation was misguided and misleading. In the end, there was never anything more to this than minor accounting errors with regard to some personal payments that I made several years ago while I was the CEO of WWE. I'm thrilled that I can now put all of this behind me. Now, this statement goes specifically against the Wall Street Journal reporting from last year that they were saying that he was under investigation by the Southern District of New York for allegations of sexual assault and sex trafficking. So that is obviously different to being under investigation by the SEC. Post Wrestling are the only people I can sort of see that have been trying to clear up this kind of discrepancy as of yet. They reached out to both Vince McMahon and the Southern District of New York Attorney's Office for clarifications, but both declined their request for a comment. So I assume we will find out more in the sort of coming weeks as to what exact lawsuits are still ongoing against Vince McMahon, but this is absolutely not the end of it. At least because of the Janelle Grant lawsuit that is 100% still ongoing. Janelle Grant's attorney has put out a statement since this SEC settlement, just saying that during his time leading WWE, Vince McMahon acted as if rules did not apply to him, and now we have confirmations that he repeatedly broke the law to cover up his horrifying behavior, including human trafficking. The SEC's charges prove that the NDA Vince McMahon coerced Miss Grant into signing violates the law, and therefore her case must be heard in court. While prosecutors for the Southern District of New York continue their criminal investigation, we look forward to bringing forward new evidence in our civil case about the sexual exploitation Miss Grant endured at WWE by Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis. Now, this seems to confirm that the Southern District of New York's the criminal investigation is still ongoing, and obviously John Grant's federal investigation is definitely still ongoing, and they are very much pushing for this to be heard out in court and not settled behind the scenes and not moved into a private court, which is what Vince McMahon obviously wants to happen. It also suggests that one of those payments that the SEC filing spoke about was Janelle Grant, which would be the £3 million one for the former employee. And obviously she was saying that she was coerced into signing it, and therefore that agreement was unlawful, which is why she is able to bring this lawsuit to the front now. So a lot still ongoing with Vince McMahon, despite what his statement says. If this is closed, this is absolutely not closed. There is still a lot more going on. and we will have to wait and see. It's obviously things that's going to be going on a while. Vince McMahon is still fighting against the Janelle Grant lawsuit as much as he possibly can, along with John Laurinaitis. But it feels like Janelle Grant is desperate for this to get to court, get her day in court, get everything else that will come out through a sort of public court case. And it will be fascinating to see what happens throughout that. But no matter what Vince McMahon says, this is definitely not over.
Yeah, and it is one of those things, it's so easy with social media and just the way that information is spread just throughout the internet to just see something like that and just interpret it as one thing or the other. I think a major thing that this kind of situation should teach everyone is just, before you just jump to like a conclusion, a response, just read everything. Just read. It's all there. It's all on the internet. And if you really want to have an informed opinion on something, just have a look. They're all there, like you just said. Like you've gone through this morning, found all the quotes. They're all out there. It is very confusing if, like myself, like you're somebody who just kind of comes into wrestling, like you just want to understand the behind the scenes and the drama of the wrestling side of it. This kind of thing can be a bit like, whoa, what's happening, what's where. Just if you do want to,
especially with that Vince McMahon statement that is purposely misleading in order to try and get people to read that and go, oh well, this is over then. It is absolutely not over.
No, that's it, and that's the important thing, really, just to state within this that it is not over. There is still a lot more to come from the sounds of it with everything else. So we'll just have to, like you said, wait and see what unfolds in the future. But just kind of moving things back over to the behind the scenes of just like within the wrestling industry currently, like the drama within locker rooms, all the rest of it. We've got Malakai Black, obviously someone within AEW there's been a lot of talk about him lately. There's been a lot of talk about whether he's done with AEW. It seems like he is. It was reported a couple of days back, I think by Fightful. They'd said that they'd inquired about his status within AEW, and the people that they spoke to were under the impression that he was finishing up. He was on his way out. And since then, we've had a report here, well, kind of a confirmation here from PW Insider. They have said that they've spoken to several sources, and these sources, believe that he is leaving the company. He's leaving AEW, and that he's expected to be a free agent sometime in the area of February, March, which is it's on the way to WrestleMania. Fancy that. Well, and if you are thinking, obviously, like a lot of us, this must mean that he's going back to WWE at some point in the future. The Observer has a few little comments on this. The Wrestling Observer, there was also talk from WWE that he was expected there when his contract expires. That's been the case for a while, but evidently there has been talk in WWE creative about him of late. So it does look like Malakai Black is heading home to Papa H, all that stuff. We'll just see what the future has in store for him. I just want him to get into a place and get into a situation where he just feels happy and comfortable, and there's just no talk after every single match or appearance that he does. That'd be great. What a life that'd be.
What a life, who knows? He's definitely a Triple H guy, isn't he, from the sort of black and gold era of NXT, so it'd be interesting to see how he fits into this version of WWE. But I mean, let us know down in the comments, is this something you want to see? What do you want to see Malakai Black do in WWE? I'm really desperately hoping he isn't just in a darkened room asking people to pick a fight.
Fight! Oh, I forgot that. That was incredible.
But I assume that won't be the case. I kind of hope he uses this as an excuse to sort of mix things up a little bit. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with it. And yeah, let us know down in the comments. Do you want to see this? Do you want to see him stay in AEW? Let us know. But just another quick one to end the video now. Nick Nemeth obviously left WWE a while ago. I say left, he was released by WWE a while ago. And he's been in TNA, and he has signed a TNA contract extension, so he's going to be sticking around in TNA for a little bit longer. This is coming from Mike Johnson of PW Insider. Now, he arrived back in TNA in January 2024, and his initial deal was for 1 year, so it will be running out around now. But they have come to terms, both of them, for an extension. No news on how long that will be, but he will be sticking around in TNA for a little bit longer. His next big thing is he's going to be facing Joe Hendry, ex-WCPW, ex-WhatCulture, Joe Hendry, what a guy, at TNA Genesis for his TNA World Championship. So yeah, interesting to see. Nick Nemeth seems to have found a happy home in TNA.
Yeah, that's it. Like we were just saying with Malakai Black, it's nice seeing when people do just find their spot and go, I'm happy here, I can do some of my best work, I can be creatively fulfilled. That's what I want for everyone within wrestling. Like, I don't like it when people are not happy and just they're throwing the toys out the prams and they want to be where they really want to be. Like, there are enough options out there, which is wonderful about this business, and Nick Nemeth appears to have found his, which is lovely. A really quick one as well, I forgot just to add on the Malakai Black stuff. He is technically still under contract right now, just so he's not left at any point, so he's still there, but everyone just believes that he's done with any future appearances in AEW. I just wanted to add that just for the sake of specificity, so we couldn't be just in trouble for not saying everything, so it's all there. I always get a panic about this stuff. I just don't want to put bad information out there into the world, so that's where we're at with that.
But that is it. Thank you very much for joining us on today's wrestling news. You can follow us over on the old social medias, all of the social medias, at Fill My Chambers for me and this guy. I've
got a couple. So at gmorgan04 on X, at Gareth Morgram on Instagram. And then if you're into the fitness side of life and you want a bit of advice, a bit of inspiration, whatever it is, I'm a personal trainer as well. So follow me at fitness.focus.gm and we will begin or restart our fitness journeys together. Why not?
Lovely, and have yourselves a bloody good day.